Exactly a year ago this time, I made a video about 16 brands that I wanted to try for the first time in 2023. Today, I'm going to go through the list and tell you all which one of these brands I actually ended up trying in 2023 and my general high-level opinion about these brands. And then I'm going to tell you all of the list of the ones that I have not tried in 2023, which ones are going to go in my brands to try in 2024. And I will also tell you some brands that I tried in 2023 that I did not have on that list. Let's get started. The first brand was MBA Cosmetics, and yes, Beauties, I did try MBA Cosmetics. I tried some of their nail polishes and I tried some of their single shadows. I would say it was a hit or miss both for the nail polishes and for the eyeshadows. I do have a swatch video of all of these. I'll tag them also on the screen and in the description box below. If you're curious, you can just watch that video for more details. At this point in time, I am going to dupe a lot of palettes from MBA Cosmetics instead of buying more stuff from them. The next brand that I said I would try was Pastel Roses UK, and I have not tried that brand, but that brand is a brand that is going to go into my 2024 brands I would like to try. Pastel Roses UK is known for having a lot of shifty, shimmery, multichromy singles, and you all know that is my thing. And doing a lot more swatch comparisons for you all, I have noticed those kinds of videos are getting a lot of views, which tells me you guys like those kinds of videos. And if that is actually benefiting you all in making better purchase decisions, I'm all for making those kinds of content. So Pastel Roses UK is definitely a brand I'm going to think about trying. Also, quick disclaimer that I have made multiple videos about my no-buy, and if I'm talking about trying a brand, it's going to happen after my no-buy. I have no intention of breaking the no-buy, everybody. The third brand that I mentioned was Lethal Cosmetics. I ended up not trying Lethal Cosmetics mainly because Lethal didn't really release anything that was very interesting. I think they released something earlier in the year. I don't remember the name of the palette. I'll put it on the screen. The product was kind of my type of color story, but I didn't purchase it. And at this point in time, I don't really have any intention of trying anything from Lethal. There is nothing missing in my collection that Lethal's products would provide. It's like none of their products will add a new value or a new perspective to my collection. The fourth brand I talked about was Enle Rain. And I have a very conflicting opinion of this brand. It is overall a brand I like to try, but there is a lot of controversy around this brand related to whether the brand is third-party manufactured and not fully disclosing it, or maybe they are disclosing it, and also the exorbitant price of the brand, knowing it might actually be third-party manufactured, and the brand using AI art, and a whole lot of other things. Despite all of that, I have heard from people who haven't been paid by the brand and haven't been sent free products by the brand that the quality of their products is pretty good. On top of that, the brand does release very interesting, colorful, shifty kind of color stories, which are totally on brand with what I do in my channel. So it totally makes sense for me to review a brand like Enle Rain, which is part of the reason I'm kind of on the fence about the brand. And if I do end up trying this brand, obviously it's not going to be until after my no-buy and maybe even in the second half of 2024. Also, I don't know if I actually answered the question, which is that I actually did not try Enle Rain in 2023. The fifth brand that I wanted to try in 2023 was MAA Beauty Bar and Beauties. I have purchased these two things from MAA Beauty Bar. I purchased them during the Black Friday sale, the Bejeweled palette, and then also Best Mattes. And I thought this totally makes sense for my channel because you can get all of these pans out and use them in making custom-made palettes. I can't say that I've used these two palettes enough to give a comprehensive review of them, and I like more time to be able to develop an opinion. But the few colors that I did use in both of these palettes on the matte side, they were drier mattes compared to mattes from brands like Terra Moons or Glaminatrix. And then on the shimmer side, they are extremely shimmery, shifty, sparkly. For reference, the textures of the mattes and the shimmers look and feel very similar and remind me of palettes that I've tried from Saints, Angels, and Sinners, Sugar Drizzle, and MAA Beauty shop. I know there have been some conversations around brands using third-party manufacturing. I'm not trying to prove anything, but that's just been my personal experience, that the textures and quality look very, very similar between these four brands. Also, a disclaimer that I believe Bella Beauty Bar has disclosed that they do third-party manufacturing, and that I personally don't have anything against third-party manufacturing. I just want to kind of tell you some additional information. Maybe if you already have some colors similar to some things you want to buy in Bella Beauty Bar in those other brands, this information might help you make a better purchase decision. Back to the list, the sixth brand I wanted to try was Odins Eye and Beauties. Yes, I did try Odins Eye. I tried these three palettes from the Perfect World collection that was in collaboration between Makeup Just for Fun Amanda, Lauren May Beauty, and Batty Bean. And I love these three influencers, and I wanted to support this particular collaboration because of that. The collab released, I believe, in January. I have reviewed this collab in a video on my channel, and I will put that video here. For all of these, I'm going to put them in the description box and on the screen, so I don't have to keep repeating this. But overall, I didn't have the best purchase experience just at the launch that I described in that video. I'm not going to go over it again. Now, the brand was pretty understanding and they responded to my concerns, but didn't really provide any pathway around it. And separate from that, I did not have the best experience with this particular palette. I have used it in multiple videos. The video is also tagged below, and it just didn't work for me. The mattes were super dry and fly away. The shimmers were nice, but honestly, I've seen better shimmers. Like, I'm not going to go buy this palette just for a couple of shimmers in it. On these two palettes, I was okay. I still reach for them. I still like the color stories, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're the best palettes that I've used. And because of that, I think I'm good on Odins Eye front for now. Now, again, Beauties, people's opinion of how a particular brand's quality works really depends on a plethora of things, and if something didn't work for me does not mean that it's not going to work for you. I know plenty of people out there who love and swear by Odins Eye. Beauties, if you've watched this far and you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. It also helps it be identified in the algorithm and recommended to other people who might find this kind of content helpful. Brand number 7 that I wanted to try was Playing in Makeup by Yolando, and I still want to bump that brand to a brand that I would like to try in 2024. Playing in Makeup by Yolando overall has very colorful color stories, which is part of the reason why I'm still very interested in trying them. Now, they do gigantic palettes, which is not my thing, which is part of the reason why I haven't really found anything yet that I would really want to try. But if they do launch something that piques my interest, I'm gonna try it. Brand number 8 was Face Glaze, and this is also another brand I did not try, and I am still interested in it. For anyone who doesn't know, Face Glaze is sold on Etsy, and they do a lot of very colorful, shifty, sparkly single shadows, very similar to Pastel Roses UK. And I talk about them pretty frequently in my to buy or not to buys, which is part of the reason why I'm like, obviously they're piquing my interest. Obviously they are on brand with what I do in this channel, so I would be interested in trying them if they launch something that is totally up my alley and I'm not on a no buy. Brand number 9 is Notoriously Morbid, and no, Beauties, I did not get to try this brand in 2023. Obviously, purchasing something at a particular point in time is a function of me liking their launch, them not launching at a time with something else that I might like more, and all of the different things that I want to buy fitting into my monthly beauty budget. Notoriously Morbid just sort of fell out of that list, but it is definitely a brand that I keep watching. They release a lot of things that are totally on brand with my channel and that are very exciting. I also believe they're handmade. If you know for sure, write it in the comments below for the rest of us. And yes, it's moving to my 2024 list. Brand number 10, I did try in 2023. It was Gourmont Girls, and I tried Warriors Wear Pink, which was a collab with Syria Soto. I do have a review of this palette. I really liked the quality of this palette, and I thought this palette is pretty good for Valentine's Day. I'm looking forward to using it in Valentine's Day. The reason I picked this one was because it was in support of breast cancer survivors, and I obviously wanted to support the cause. But unless they release something really, really interesting and shifty in 2024, I'm probably not gonna put them on the list of brands I want to buy more from. Brand number 11 that I wanted to try in 2023 was Jcat Cosmetics, and we know Jcat Cosmetics has had a plethora of different things released this year as well as last year. They even brought back some palettes, the Python palette and so on. You know, it's a brand that kind of piqued my interest at some point with their Apocalypse release and their Evil Mermaid release, and I believe it was Bloom palette release. That looked very interesting, and I know a lot of people who gave amazing reviews to their Apocalypse palette, even though it was out of stock for a very long time. I even think they said that it's not going to come back, and then it came back. I think at this point in time, I'm good. I kind of got over the need to buy anything from Jcat Cosmetics. If they release something insanely unique, just as with any other brand, they could get back on the list. But at this point in time, I'm going to skip the brand. Brand number 12 was Pink Crush Cosmetics and Beauties. I kind of feel like I forgot about this brand after I created the video where I talked about these 16 brands, which tells me they probably didn't release anything that piqued my interest. I also haven't really heard about Pink Crush Cosmetics even recently. If you ask me what's the latest release, I don't even know. So with all of that said, I'm probably just going to opt out of putting them on my 2024 list. Brand number 13 on the list was Give Me Glow and Beauties. I did pick up a few singles and a few brushes and a few magnetic palettes from Give Me Glow's sale. Their original singles were large like this, and they decided to make the pan sizes standardized to 26 millimeter. So a lot of their singles were on sale, and I picked quite a few of their singles and I've used them. Because the purchase happened relatively recently, I can't really give a comprehensive opinion about them. I did put a couple of their singles in my December custom made palette video, and I did eye looks with them, and I think they performed relatively reasonably. The magnetic palettes obviously were pretty good. I have used them in some of my videos when I've talked about the singles, and I've also used the brushes. They're also pretty good. Brand number 14 that I wanted to try in 2023 was Sigil inspired by Tammy Tanuka. Beauties, this brand is a Russian brand, and because of everything that's going on, getting products from Russia in the US is frankly impossible. So obviously I did not try. Well, I probably can't say obviously, because I could have probably purchased the product secondhand somewhere, but I did not try any product from this brand, although this brand is a brand that I'm still very interested in trying. So if you all know a way I can get my hands on this brand, write it in the comments below. I would like to know. Brand number 15 was Copesthetic Cosmetics, and thanks to a friend, I actually get to try this brand pretty early in the year. My friend sent me some singles from the brand, including this palette, which is so cute. Beauties, if this just so happens to be the first video you're landing on, I love cats. Yeah. And obviously I had to have this palette, and the friend who bought it for me knows me really, really well. Can't thank her enough So I got to try Copesthetic Cosmetics, and my opinion of this brand is pretty high at this point. I have used their products in a lot of my swatch videos and a lot of the videos where I try custom made palettes, where I tell you which singles I recommend for different seasons and so on. I've also used some of their singles in duping palettes. Their mattes are pretty pigmented. They totally work with my complexion, with my skin texture in terms of blendability, not getting creasy, not getting patchy, and some issues I've had with other mattes from other brands. Those kinds of issues I haven't seen with Copesthetic, and a lot of their shimmers can be dupes for more high-end, more expensive shimmers, and they're exciting, shifty, shiny, beautiful. It's definitely a brand I'm gonna, well, not try for the first time in 2024, obviously, but going to continue watch out for and follow in 2024 to see what they're gonna release next. And brand number 16 is NARI, which is a Chinese indie brand. I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it. Some of the releases they've had in the past look absolutely gorgeous, absolutely colorful, very interesting. And if anybody in this space knows how I can get a hold of releases from this brand, let me know. If there are things I could do, I would love to know, to be able to get a hold of a palette from this brand. Now, beauties, for the second part of this video, I'm going to tell you about brands that I tried in 2023 that I did not put on the list. Now, I don't want to say didn't want to try in 2023 because it just never occurred to me that I should try these brands in 2023, frankly. The first brand I want to talk about is Jcat Cosmetics and Beauties. I actually purchased quite a few of their palettes. These are two of the palettes that I tried from Jcat Cosmetics, and the look that I'm wearing is with Jcat Cosmetics, is with this palette, First Love Diary. This is the color story. It's so beautiful. I like the quality and the pigmentation. Look at it. It's very nice. They're pretty blendable, pretty pigmented. The specific shimmers that I use are a little thin. You can see my skin tone from under it. Now, again, this is just the nature of the shimmer. It doesn't mean the brand can't make opaque shimmers. Just to make sure you're aware of that if you're somebody who just are allergic to thin shimmers. But I highly recommend this brand, particularly if you can get it at TJ Maxx for like $6-7. It's a bargain. Another brand that I tried, that I purchased from TJ Maxx, was Jcat and Beauties. This palette is such a jungly, beautiful palette, and the color story is so nice for the spring. Look at all of these beautiful greens. And the quality was also great. I also did a look with this palette in this channel. Again, mattes were pretty blendable, pretty pigmented, shimmers pretty nice. Yeah, highly recommend Jcat just based on my experience with this palette. The third brand that I didn't have on the list, but I ended up trying for the first time in 2023 was Revolution, and I tried these two in a video. On the positive side, I liked the color story, and the packaging is super sleek and super nicely made. On the negative side, the quality is a miss. It did not work for me, and I have not used it past that first time, I don't think. The fourth brand that I tried in 2023 that I didn't anticipate trying because the brand didn't exist at that point in time was Veron Cosmetics, and I tried the Moth and the Moon palette, and I have very high opinions of this palette. The mattes are super pigmented, beautiful. The color story is gorgeous. The shimmers are shifty and sparkly and amazing. The only negative thing I have to say about this palette, I think you can see, is that the packaging doesn't have a wax. So it's kind of, you can see the oil stains on the packaging. Some people might not care about that, but if you care about that, that's going to be something that might bother you. The fourth brand that I tried in 2023 for the first time that I didn't have on the list was MAA Beauty Shop, and I tried quite a few brands from quite a few palettes from MAA Beauty Shop. Overall, I have a pretty high opinion of the brand. The mattes are pretty pigmented. They are blendable. The shimmers are very shifty and sparkly, and the color stories are also pretty nice. They also did This collab with Martha's Makeup, I have a review of it in this channel with swatches and everything. It's a beautiful palette. You can make all kinds of eye looks with it, appropriate for different seasons. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but just in case you're skipping ahead, the quality of this brand reminds me very much of the quality of Saints, Angels, Sinners, Bella Beauty Bar, and Sugar Drizzle. So if you like or dislike any of those brands or have a particular opinion of any of those brands, maybe you can use this information for reference. But beautiful color stories, and I really enjoyed using these palettes. The brand does release special singles that are like shiny, shifty, sparkly type of singles. So maybe later in the year, if they have something very special, I consider purchasing from them. Another thing is that the brand has done pre-orders a lot, and I'm just trying to stay away from pre-orders. I don't want to have to wait 5 months to receive something. In Beauties, yes, I have with some brands waited that long. It just doesn't make sense for my kind of purposes. So because of that, I don't see myself putting this brand on my 2024 list. I do want to mention this next brand because this was a brand that I didn't necessarily try for the first time in 2023. I did purchase something from them in 2022, but it wasn't until 2023 that I actually started using them, and then I ordered a lot of their stuff during their Christmas and July sale. Yes, beauties, I am talking about Sydney Grace, and it wasn't until then that I realized how much I'm enjoying this brand. And I, at this moment, have a lot of stuff from Sydney Grace that I'm looking forward to using, particularly that I think the general premise of Sydney Grace is single shadows, which is totally up my alley and totally on brand for this channel, for duping things and for making sure we're not over buying makeup or buying multiples of what we already have in our collection, which is why I could see myself buy more things from Sydney Grace. I generally have a very high opinion of Sydney Grace as a brand. I love their mattes, super pigmented, blendable, amazing quality, and their shimmers. The only thing missing from the brand, if I could even say that, is shiny, shifty, sparkly multichromes, but I have a lot of that in my collection to begin with, so I can complement what they have with the singles that I have from other high-end brands. Sydney Grace is definitely going to be on my 2024 list. I also tried their brushes. I purchased it in a steep discount during Christmas and July sale, and overall I have a very high opinion of the brand, and I highly recommend them. MAA Beauty is the last brand that I tried for the first time in 2023 that I did not have on the list. Again, because the brand did not exist, is Beauty, is Angelica's brushes, and I tried her eye brushes. I have talked about this in my video, well, 2 videos, doing comprehensive review of different brushes, and in my video talking about top best and top worst products of 2023. And I love these brushes. I bought the original collection, and then I also bought the extensions recently, and it is definitely a brand that's going to go on my 2024 list. Beauties, I just realized that I forgot to include this one in the list. This is Melt Cosmetics' Nightmare Before Christmas palette, and yes, I used Melt Cosmetics for the first time this year, or well, I should say last year, 2023. I used this palette in one of my to buy or not to buys. I didn't have the best experience using it. I'm probably going to try to make more eye looks with it just to develop better opinions about the palette. But I think I'm good as far as Melt is concerned. For now, I'm not going to buy more stuff from them this year, 2024. In addition to this palette, the collection also came with lipsticks, a highlighter, and 2 eyeliners, maybe some other things. And yeah, I think I'm good for Melt for now. And I'm just going to try these items a little more. Okay, beauties, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you watched this far. Also, I would love to hear from you. What are some of the brands you like to try in 2024 for the first time? Thank you. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And until next time, bye.